It is episode 171 of Left Side Heavy, the podcast. I'm your host, Jevin LaFave. We got host Hayden Barton on as well. And Hayden, who do we got on this episode this week?
This week we have the one, the only, the Anaheim Duckian, Scott Konkin. Your last name is just such a sick last name.
Thank
Konkin.
you. Appreciate it, boys. Appreciate it.
Been a while, buddy. How you been, man?
It's been a while. Life's good. Life's busy. I'm really busy with school, with work part-time. I'm moving back to Squamish in 10 days.
Oh, no way.
There's lots going on, fellas. Yeah, it's good. Life's good though. Exciting. But yeah, I'm excited to get back on pod with you guys. It's been a while. Probably like I think Hayden was mentioning pre-show, like a year.
Yeah, trying to get you on was a fucking headache, man.
Hey, spur my life. My life books up quick. So it's
man, you're a busy guy. You're a hot commodity on these streets, man. Everybody wants a taste of Scott.
oh boys, you're too nice to me. Come on. I'm 2 minutes in.
So you're taking summer classes or what?
Yeah, so the education program, for viewers that don't know, I go to school at UBC Okanagan in Kelowna, and our program goes through to be a teacher. The program runs 16 months straight, and that includes May through August, which is unfortunate, but hey, it is what it is. I'm here, and I'll be a certified teacher in about 6 months. So
Is that good?
Baller.
That's
yeah.
fire, man.
Which is
What do you chase and what kind of teacher you want to be?
high school phys ed, science, and socials.
Ooh,
Yeah,
nice.
yeah.
You're gonna be one of those cool socials teachers, because every socials teacher I had, I fucking hated.
It's hit or miss with socials. Yeah, I hear that half the schools I hear things about, either they have like amazing social teachers or horrible. There's no in between. I think I'm pretty cool, but I'll let my students decide that and
Yeah.
just do my thing. I think phys ed my specialty for sure, but science and socials are good, like backup options just in case. So
I feel like socials teachers, they always had at least one kid who they always picked on all the time.
like
Like
to ask question or to answer
just
question?
like, no, like he was their punching bag. Like,
Huh.
I don't know if that was just me, but like this socials teacher I had, he always like one kid he always just like went after.
Yeah, no, fair enough. It hasn't quite happened with me. Again, I've had a few internships and a few practicums so far, and I have one more in September. But other than that, it's been good so far. So
That's fire, dude. That's
yeah,
fire. Looking forward to get you back in Squam. We have to go hit around or something like
pick
that.
the links. Yeah, let me know. We'll chat.
Yeah, get us in at Squamish Valley. Whatever.
Facts.
But hey, how have you been? It's been a few days since we've recorded.
Yeah, been a few days since we recorded. Today, oh my god, fucking hectic day for me after work. I'm making my dad something for his birthday, and on the off chance he listens to this before I give it to him, I'm not gonna say what it is, but let's just say I wanted to do it one way. My foreman told me to do it another way. I haven't done the other way, and I fucked it up.
Ooh.
So yeah, he won't be getting a birthday present tomorrow.
Want.
So instead, I'll be telling him like, "Hey, Dad, yeah, you know what? It will be coming. I swear. Just tried to do it a different way, and I shouldn't have. But
Yeah.
excuse me. Yeah, as we were kind of talking pre-recording. So you guys know, I went to the Lions game. I also picked up a brand new jersey.
Oh,
I'll show it on here. We talk
Clean.
about it. It's the fog gray, as they call, and it is one of the cleanest jerseys I own. It's like right up there with my Color Rush Camara jersey,
Yeah.
easily. So that was nice. That was a pretty birthday present to myself.
Yeah.
And yeah, sick game. First shutout that the Lions have had since 1977.
Not bad.
Yeah, to get shut out in the CFL is pretty fucking hard. So
Yeah.
you know you're a bad team if you do.
Yeah, because isn't it like if you punt it through the end zone, you get a point or some
Yeah,
shit?
you get a point. Yeah,
That's
they
how
didn't
you-
even make it into like decent range to get one single point on the Lions. So
Wild.
Yeah, that's
yeah,
beautiful.
absolutely.
Lions D was a brick wall.
They were, man. Like the Lions defense is so good. Their offense is kind of stagnant, but as soon as they get the offense clicking, it's just gonna be money.
Cool.
Yeah, that's beautiful. Well, to kick this episode off, gentlemen, of course, we're going to the old trusty question of the week. Last week we had, if you were commissioner for a day for any league in the world, what changes would you make? Scott, did you have one for that?
An answer? Yeah. Oh gosh. I mean, the NHL I know the best for sure. Wow. I'm gonna
I
go, yeah, NHL, and I'll be goofy today. I don't think I'd actually do this, but make it all 3-on-3 and
Oh,
one small ring,
interesting.
and
Interesting.
um have it across the world. So have the best, have teams across the world. Air travel is getting better these days, and recovery is getting better. Um, Shorter season, make it like 60 games, but do like 3 or 4 days in between games. Really hype it up. Um,
That's dope. I said go back to 1-8 playoffs for the
that's
NHL
also a good call. Yeah, I like that
because
as
this
well.
wild card format's pissed me off. But this week's question of the week, we're going away from the sports world and we're making it a little lighthearted here. If you were to have a non-traditional pet, which pet are you having? So like dog, cat, bird, fish, reptile. Get out of here. We need a non-traditional animal as a pet.
I have a
Which
great,
direction are you going?
I have a great answer. Do I have unlimited money in the world? Like, can I have this?
Yeah, we'll make
Okay.
it. Yeah.
Give me a big ass aquarium. I'm getting myself an orca.
Oh. Yo, that reminds me of the fucking Ed Helms from We're the Millers. Have you seen that
Oh,
movie?
yeah. Exactly. Yeah.
Yeah, it's like I got a fucking orca. He's just like eating like dolphins and shit. It's like, yeah, like all right.
Straight out of the movie.
Scott's gonna be like his back is to the door and he just turns around in his chair and he just has a big ass tank behind him with like a fucking orca swimming around. Probably named like Zegras or something after his boy.
But yeah, I'll allow it.
Drysdale? Okay, yeah, respectable. Respectable. Hayden, what about you?
Oh man, that's a really good question. You don't really think of any other pets other than your generic species.
Yeah.
Oh man. My first kind of instinct said like bear because it'd be fucking absolutely just sick to have a bear as a pet, you know?
Yeah.
They could literally like they're a brown bear too. So like a grizzly bear. Yeah,
Grizzly, okay.
not a black bear. Black bears
You
are
need to be specific in this gene.
yeah,
There's a lot of
I
bears.
agree. I agree. Polar bear is no, like not cuddly enough. But like you get me a grizzly bear, man, that thing will keep you warm any time of the day.
It's the best guard dog. It's a grizzly
Absolutely.
bear.
Who's
Number one
fucking
bodyguard.
with you? Yeah, who's fucking with you with a bear right beside your back?
Negative people, I would
Yeah,
assume.
exactly.
Unless that one stubborn cat, just like cats are like they don't care how big you are. They're gonna like they're doing what they want. So
Yeah, they don't give a fuck.
yeah.
Okay, well, what about you?
I think I'm going the same direction as you, Hayde, but I'm veering off a little bit. For pure entertainment factor, I'm going to Panda Bear because they just toss themselves around and it's pure comedy. And you talk about the cuddly factor, I'm taking one of those suckers. Zero what's the like zero survival instinct in those bears.
Absolutely.
They're so like reckless and people in the comments on like TikTok, it's like no wonder why this species is going
It was
extinct.
endangered.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's endangered because it's like they're falling down from like 15 feet off a tree because their awareness is like below zero. But for the entertainment factor, I'm going to panda bear or penguin because penguins are one of my favorites.
Penguin's like your favorite animal, yeah.
Yeah.
That makes sense.
but also a very reckless animal. If you watch those guys, they're very clumsy. Penguins, they'll fall downstairs and shit. It's hilarious. But yeah, that's question of the week for episode 171. All right. Scott, so we are recording about 10 days after, or about a week to the date after the Stanley Cup final. I just want to get your quick thoughts. We've kind of ran through our entire like recap of the finals and everything, but this first topic kind of goes into it. What were your overall thoughts of the Stanley Cup playoffs and finals more specifically?
Playoffs and finals, I enjoyed it thoroughly. To be honest, I can't say I watched all the games. Just I don't have cable TV right now, so it's difficult to watch most of them. I did stream every game of the Cup final, which was great, and it was yeah. I mean, at a certain point, it was Vegas's cup to lose, and Florida. I mean, I think this is the topic we're going to talk about. Florida was getting beat up left and right, and they had to fight through three really tough outs, in my opinion, in
Yeah.
Boston, Toronto, and Carolina. Three really tough teams to knock out of the playoffs, and I think they kind of just ran out of gas, to be honest. And the Vegas is too good. Their depth is too good. Their defense is too good. Their forwards came to play, and Aiden Hill was like Corey Crawford, very solid and steady in the net, and just kind of made the saves he needed to.
Yeah.
That's it.
Yeah, because like when you get like with Florida, so to the first point, like their injuries, it's like like the US Open tradition when like the dropping the ball in the rough, like videos before the
Oh,
tournament
you can't
starts.
even see the ball. Yeah, it's like
Yeah.
straight.
So
Yeah.
like those traditional like social media posts, it's the
Yeah.
laundry list of injuries after the Stanley Cup final is a tradition you always look forward to seeing. And Florida had a scroll that you see in fucking Pirates of the Caribbean, like of injuries. Radko Gudas from the Boston series was playing with a high ankle sprain. Brandon Montour tore his labrum. Kachuk, as we mentioned on the episode live, fractured sternum in game 3, played the rest of game 3 and 4 with a fractured sternum. That one is fucked. And then Aaron Ekblad had the fucking infinity gauntlet of injuries. Broken foot versus Boston. He had 2 dislocated shoulders and a torn oblique. And Duclair and Bennett were also playing hurt. So Florida was just so banged up. And after the series, Eichel was talking about in his post-game presser that they could have played another round with how healthy they were and everything. So when you got Florida battling that and then Vegas having the depth and health, it's not going to be a long series.
And it was not. Yeah, and as good as Bobrovsky was and is, he just couldn't. He wasn't very good in the Vegas series, but there was a reason for that, and he just got lit up in that series. But the rest of the playoffs, he was phenomenal. It just you can only go so far without having all those guys, like you mentioned, that laundry list of players injured, and not just like not just depth guys, like the top dogs on
They're
your team.
boys, yeah.
There's Kachuk, there's Ekblad, arguably your number one defenseman. Montour, who played like a one, all playoffs. He's gonna make big money coming up. Like he's a beast, former Duck as well, by the way. Like unbelievable, and it's those three I just mentioned there are three of your best players.
Yeah.
You're sitting, it's tough. You're sledding uphill the whole way with that.
Hayden, have you played like football through any like obviously I don't think you'd play through any severe injuries like this, but have you played through anything like decently tough to play through and you're like, my God, that was
I'm
just like,
assuming I've
impossible?
definitely played with like minor concussions before.
Yeah.
I've played through a broken finger, which wasn't like super badly broken, but it was just like you could tell that it was kind of fractured.
Yeah.
Um, it's tough because I don't know how anyone can play with anything foot related. Like one time it was overtime, and in overtime we did it like the NCAA, right?
Okay,
So you
start on the
start from like
25 or something.
yeah, and you go in, and we were at like fourth overtime, right? And I was on defense, and I was having like game of my life defensive wise. I had like 20 tackles or some just absurd shit. And the ball was going opposite way that I was, and I ran across the field. And just as he was like getting tackled, I jumped over someone, and then someone rolled on my ankle,
Oh,
and my ankle literally was like that fucking big.
yeah.
And I tried my hardest to like get up and stand up. I took like one step and I fell. And I'm like, I can't even walk. So there hasn't been like a super bad injury I've played through, but then I definitely also played with it was like a swollen wrist, and I definitely like fucked something up in my wrist. But I have like a picture of it where my hand literally looks like a glove because I got hit on it with the helmet. So nothing like what any of these guys went through.
Yeah, it's like
Never in a million
these
years.
guys are fucking warriors. Like you said, anything foot related, like Ekblad playing with a broken foot for 3 series. How do you get yours?
Crazy.
Like usually when like you break your foot, you don't take your skate off because the skate keeps the swelling down. How do you willingly
Push.
like push your foot into a boot after like in the next like for the next game, let alone like 10 more? It's just
Mhm.
insane to
Painkillers
me.
and antifreeze, I think, or not antifreeze, and they think they freeze their foot. So what I've seen before is guys will completely undo their skate, and trainers will put it on their foot, and they'll take painkillers and try to reduce swelling as best they can, put the skate on, and even they'll make punches. They'll stretch the skate out more to like fit the broken foot, and then they just make the adjustments as they need to.
That's
It's
insane.
Crazy.
But again, I think Kachuk said it best. Like you do it for the playoffs. Like if listened to the Chicklets pod
Yeah.
about this the injuries, and Chuck said in an interview that if it wasn't the Cup playoffs, like he'd be out for 2 months.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But he played the next game. He played game 4 and did what he could. But damn,
Yeah, these guys are fucking warriors. Ekblad's obviously gonna miss the start of training camp. With all the shit he has to go through. Montour's gonna be out about 3 to 4 months. Kachuk probably around the same. Like I think Florida's gonna get off to a slow start next year, I could only assume. But yeah. Shout out to Florida just to kick the episode off with that. Um It's a Vancouver podcast, so we're going to kick off with the main headline that popped off this week. On Friday, the Vancouver Canucks did what they did not want to do. They bought out Oliver Ekman Larson. He had 4 years remaining on a $66 million deal. It works out like this. In year one, it'll be a $147,000 cap hit with just over $7 million in savings. The second year, it'll be a $2.3 million cap hit with just under $5 million in savings. Years 3 and 4 is when it really hits Vancouver's cap hard, is when it's just under $5 million average cap hit with just $2.5 million in savings. And then years 5 to 8, it'll be just over $2 million cap hit at cost. So they won't be saving any money. That would just be his standard cap hit. Had he stayed, whatever, they won't be really saving anything. But this, they will be buying out his contract till 2031. Was this the worst trade in Vancouver history? Trading Beagle, Louis Erickson, and Antoine Roussel, who all had 1 year remaining, and a first-round pick and a fourth-round pick for Connor Garland and Oliver Ekman Larson.
Hayden, if you want to go first, I have some thoughts on this. Um, you go first. I have a good theory though.
Is it the worst trade in Canucks history? It seems like it. Just to say, like, oh yeah, we're paying this guy off until the next fucking fuck, I always forget it.
Decade?
Yeah, we're paying this guy off in the next decade, but that's just how it is. But then it's also like, oh, we're looking to trade Connor Garland now as well. Yeah, this is tough. Like they weren't even key pieces, you know. Oliver Ekman Larsson was a liabetic, and Connor Garland was like second line, maybe at best. It like no key components to what the Canucks did. So yeah, I'd say it's up there.
Yeah.
It's up there as one of the worst trades all time.
Yeah. But Scott, your overall thoughts on the buyout?
A necessary move, which is really unfortunate. And you ask about, is it the worst trade ever? I honestly, this might be a hot take. This is bad for both teams. I don't think Dylan Gunther is going to be that good
You don't think so?
because that was the piece that went. That was I would say, correct me if I'm wrong. Arguably the main piece that came back, went back to Arizona, was the Canucks' ninth overall pick in 2021, which would happen to become Dylan Gunther. Um, I saw him play 3 times in the year in the WHL for the Thunderbirds. Twice in the playoffs, once at the Memorial Cup final. And maybe it just was those 3 games. I wasn't that impressed. He's got a good shot. He's a smart player. Maybe he just needs to play with better players. I don't know, but he's playing on a good Thunderbirds team. Who knows? I wasn't that impressed. The Canucks probably would have used that pick to pick a different guy. Again, there was at the time Pavel Minchikov was on the table. What's his name? Guy. Denton Matchuk that went to Columbus. There were 2 defensemen that they could have very easily taken with that pick and been better than Ekman Larsson. So again, if you look at it pure face value, basically Gunther, Beagle, and I forget what the other piece was, in exchange for Ekman Larsson and Garland, like Ekman Larsson and Garland gave him a couple decent years. They weren't great, but it was decent, better than the other way. So
I don't necessarily think it was bad for Arizona, though. I'd take Arizona's end of the deal way more, even if Gunther's not going to be that good. Because they got $12 million of cap space after. Because those contracts had 1 year remaining, and we got, like, in hindsight, you got to look at it, right? Like, we're going to be paying Oliver Ekman Larsson for another 8 years, and we're trying to trade Connor Garland, which we might have to pay to get rid of just for cap space. When if we just and like they didn't even make an immediate impact because we missed the playoffs the following year. So we would have had the ninth overall pick, $12 million in cap space, and we probably would have just been able to actually try to compete without having to buy anyone out or pay to get rid of contracts. So say it's bad for both teams. I would disagree, especially in Arizona's situation when they're just taking on bad contracts for picks.
Yeah.
So it
I
made sense for them to make that trade, but like depends the team's situation to value if what Canucks sent back was good or not for the team. For Arizona, they hit the fucking lottery, and Dylan Gunther's value at that time, he had a good World Juniors just teeing it up. Obviously, who knows what kind of player he'll turn out to be. I'm assuming just a solid top 6 forward power play goal scorer is my kind of projection for him from what I've seen. But I would take that in a fucking heartbeat if it were to get rid of Garland and Ekman Larsson.
Fair enough. Hey, that's When you say it like that, absolutely. It's hard to argue with that. That's well said. I don't think it's the worst trade they've ever made, but it's not good.
I think it's up there though.
It's up
Just
there.
like just from like what has happened because of the trade. Like just like what Vancouver's had to do, it makes it really bad. Like if Ekman Larsson played and was like a 55-point defenseman, we wouldn't be buying him out. And if Connor Garland was a consistent 25 to 30 goal scorer, we wouldn't be really looking to ship him off. But obviously, those two guys aren't that. And now we just bought an OEL where like it saves us money, but like we're not fucking contending right now. Like we're mid of mid right now, so it's like impossible to tell what direction this team's going.
It's true, but again, had they not made that trade, they could have had a very good prospect in their defense cupboard, which the Canucks don't have a lot of prospects right now. So
Exactly. So
Exactly.
yeah, I just like don't think they were in a position to trade away that first. And I was like,
I agree.
I'm always like stubborn when it comes to Vancouver's moves because I don't want to accept that they're a bad fucking franchise. But like when they made that trade, I was like, oh, like I don't
Yeah,
know, like the 9th overall pick's gonna turn out to be just as good as Garland is, so we may as well get him now. But
yeah,
like I just like don't think that's the case anymore. And like I think any prospect's gonna be better than maybe not any prospect, but I think the 9th overall pick's gonna be better than what Connor Garland is. No disrespect to Garland, but
yeah. I would
um
safely agree with you on that one.
you're gonna disagree?
I would
Safely
safely
agree.
agree. Safely
Oh,
agree. Yeah,
okay.
absolutely. Oh
I
yeah,
wasn't sure if you just cut off or something, but like so like I was like stubbornly optimistic, but now I'm just like no, like that was just such a stupid move. Like Ekman Larson was good like 5 years ago, but then he had like knee surgeries and his main positive of skating was diminished. And now it was just like he was kind of defensive liability. So it's like, why do we do that?
I agree.
But yeah. So do we think OEL will get signed? Because as much as I'm shitting on Ekman Larson, a big like proponent of his value was that he was making way too much money for the player he is, right? And he's not a defenseman where you can give him 25 to 30 minutes a night. But if he's playing in a limited role, sixth defenseman getting 15 minutes a night, 12, I feel like he could be like a Mark Stahl where it's like he might not be too bad if he's making $2 million a year for a contender. Like, right? Like I don't like he still has like some, but like he's not an $8.5 million player, top four defenseman anymore. Like that's just the reality. So do we think he finds his way onto maybe a contending roster, like maybe a Vegas or like a Toronto or stash him in Tampa as a seventh defenseman? Like, do we think we see him in roster for cheap next year?
He'll be back. Yeah, he's gonna play next year. What that's gonna look like, I don't know. Again, I think you said it best. He's like an Eric Stahl. He's a good veteran presence. Like, put him on a young team, put him on a team that needs some development, like Arizona, Anaheim, Columbus, maybe. Some of these teams that are kind of going through rebuild, but they can use a veteran guy on the back end of his career that's just kind of looking to get some playing time and help these young kids develop and get to that point. And I said Arizona because he was a big part of that like not just the franchise but like the city. He was very involved. I think he almost won it was a Bill King Clancy maybe like something yeah to the community service. And that doesn't go unnoticed, and he probably has roots in Arizona, so why not go back, right?
Yeah. No, yeah, it's I could see that maybe like a Chicago or something or as
Oh,
well. That could be decent. Hey, do you think he'll well, what do you kind of project him making on his next contract? OEL.
Oh man. I'm not the best still with contracts and money. Obviously, he was massively overpaid, and that's a statement. So I have to imagine, seeing as his production was very low.
And he is only 31 still, so he still has like a few years
Yeah,
left.
I maybe like see like a 4 year, maybe like 2 to 3. I'd say like purely just for production wise. He hasn't shown anything. He just gives like veteran presence,
Yeah,
in my opinion.
that's fair. Like I'm also kind of looking at like Eric Goodbranson. Columbus threw a 4x4 at him. So he was making like $16 million, something like that last
Hmm.
offseason. And I think like OEL can maybe chase something like that from a team with cap space. And I was listening to 32 Thoughts with Friedman and Merrick, and apparently it might be a John Klingberg type contract where it's like a 1 year, $6.5 million deal, and then he gets traded at the deadline for maybe a team who just needs depth defensemen for a playoff run. So I was like, that's interesting. Like when he wanted to get traded from Arizona, he was looking at Boston or Vancouver. And maybe Boston stashes him. And hey, I don't know.
Yeah, who knows? I think, yeah, throw him in the Boston decor, and I don't know where he fits because there's three better guys than him on the left side, anyways. You know,
Yeah.
you look like in Lindholm. I forget they've got they have Orlov there too as well. He's gonna probably go, but like there's three guys right there that are already all better than Ekman Larson. So we'll see. I think he's gonna play. I think Hayden. I think that contract though is like pretty bang on. And between like you said, Jevin, the 4x4 for Gutty, and then the $3 million figure, I think it'll be around that. Maybe
Yeah.
3.5 mil for a couple years, but it depends. It could be 1/6. It could be 3/4. Just depends on the
Depends how he's looking at this year for himself.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Gets a 10x10.
be set goal.
Alvin throws a curveball. He's like, fuck it, I'm re-signing him. Like, bro. Yeah. All right. So moving on here. Big news as allegedly the Las Vegas Police Department, if I'm not mistaken,
Oh,
stopped a potential mass shooting at Game 5. It
this
was
story is insane.
yeah, so some guy basically said if we win, then get ready, whatever. He's gonna like go on a rampage.
If they
And
didn't win by a certain amount.
do you have the story up, Hayden? Or like no?
I read enough about it, but the general gist of it was, yeah, if they didn't win by a certain amount, it was going to be just a second coming of the Las Vegas shooting, but worse. And police looked into this, found out or saw these Facebook posts because he posted it on Facebook, the fucking idiot. And then they went back to his place, got a warrant, and found out that he had loaded rifles ready to go.
Oh my god! Yeah, I'm shooting the story right now.
Yeah. Mandalay Bay part 2 is what he called it.
That's absurd.
It's like, what the fuck, man?
And let's not forget that was right near the beginning. That was like about a week before Vegas played their first game
Yeah.
in Las Vegas, right? The Mandalay Bay shooting, 60 dead, 100 more injured, I think was what it said on the article. Wow, honestly that's news to me. I did not know that.
Yeah. Yeah, it was fucking crazy. I remember reading about that on Thursday or Friday last week. And I was like, Jesus Christ, man.
Yeah.
Like
So
what is the United States of America right now?
it's in shambles, bro. It's in shambles. But shout out to the police force for getting on that and stopping that before it obviously
Like, could you
started, because that would have
imagine?
been terrible. That would have been terrible. It would, yeah. It's just like you just won, and now it's just like,
Slaughterhouse right
yeah, it's not
outside of
even,
your
Yeah.
it's not even
Coliseum.
fucking worth it. Yeah, it's ridiculous. But shout out to the police force for stopping that. Let's get into the positives, because Vegas did have an absolute fucking time and a half after winning this cup. Did you guys see the William Karlsson speech?
Legendary.
Go around the room. Out of 10, what would you give that speech ranking?
I don't know if it was a speech or if it was just words.
Yeah.
I rate whatever he was trying to say a 10. Trying to introduce the Conn Smythe of Jonathan Marchessault. That was fucking hilarious.
Yeah. Sounded like me at Donnie Donald's wedding. Just like 20 beers in, trying to give a speech about him.
Yep.
Yeah.
But
Scott,
that's what it's supposed to be like, man. You're supposed to
yeah,
have
dude.
that time.
Yeah, Wild Bill, man. Wild Bill. Out of 10, Scott, what are you giving the speech?
9.5. It's up. Well, I don't know how else. Yeah.
Yeah, it's
I think if his words were clear, it'd be an absolute 10. But
yeah,
it's Yeah, that was good stuff. He's intoxicated, but he was
Oh
feeling
yeah.
himself. And props to him. Like I think he's a pretty known as a pretty quiet guy around the NHL. He doesn't really say a whole lot. And you really see guys' characters when they even
Yeah.
drunk what they do. But no, it was great. It's fucking awesome to see it.
I
Good
just
for good for them. They
yeah.
just they can do whatever the fuck they want. They can say whatever the fuck they want. Like
Yeah.
they
I
just
just
want
love the unnecessary ricochet shot that Arizona caught. Just out of the blue, he's like, "We played Arizona the first game and we beat the shit out of them." It's like, if you're Arizona, it's like, bro, what? What do we do?
yeah.
Like, yeah, we
But
fucking know you guys beat
Yeah.
us.
it
Okay,
was funny.
shut
The
up.
funny part about that too is he even acknowledged he didn't even get any points.
Yeah. He's like, I played like shit,
Sure
but
though,
it
but that's
doesn't matter. Dude, that's so funny. If I was like Arizona owner or GM or coach or whatever, I'd been like, bro, why, man? Like, come on, we just over here chilling, bro, and you just throwing ricochet shots at us for no reason. Come on, man. But yeah, it was an unreal speech, and yeah, Vegas. It was very interesting. Their party, like and parade and stuff, went on late into the evening, and I think that was just the vibe of Vegas. It's like you
it,
can't.
it is Las Vegas though. Let's not forget. Usually,
Yeah,
like
Mm.
championship parades start at like 12 noon, and
yeah.
they go to like 6 or 7. But Vegas
They
started at
started at midnight, baby. Probably. I think they were saying the sun
7,
was
7 p.m.
yeah,
local start, so they probably paraded down the strip, and then they got into the clubs at like 10 or 11,
yeah.
and then went nuts from there. Yeah.
That would have been
Have you guys
unbelievable
been
to
to
be
Las
there.
Vegas?
Yeah, I've been to Las Vegas once,
Okay.
I haven't, man. I need to get
but
down there.
Guys would love
I
it.
I was only in Las Vegas for my brother's wedding,
Mm.
and I was about 8.
So you haven't been to
So
Vegas.
I haven't really been to Vegas, yeah, because I didn't like do anything, but kind of a scary story. Kind of like not it's not funny, but it's not like just a nice story. So if I was around 8, that means means like our sister, Gemini's sister, Donnie, she was around 19, underage, but she was getting catcalled and whistled at like left, right, and center. It was just happening, right? And as a younger brother, it's like, oh, this is pretty cool. I'm popular because my sister is getting catcalled. But
Oh,
then, come to find out, years down the road, some pimp came up to my dad and asked how much for how much for Donnie, and my dad was like, "You better get the fuck out of my
Yeah.
face right now before I call the police." And it's like, Jesus,
That's just insane. And then
it
you're
is
over there
hot.
like, yo, paparazzi, bro.
Yeah. Like,
you're so,
whoa.
you're so oblivious to all of
Yeah.
it.
How much for me too, bud? Like,
Yeah. Gonna ask my price as well, man.
yeah. Yeah, no, it was
Everyone's got a number, bro. They live golf.
oh my
Everyone's
God.
got a number.
No, but it was definitely like, even being there as an 8-year-old, it's still fucking fun. Like, we stayed up close to the building, like the one with the needle on it, I guess.
Oh, yes. Okay, that's kind of
The something tower, I forget what it's fucking
yeah.
called. But there's 3 rides on top of it. You got like kind of like the elevator sort of thing where you go straight up. And then there's one that like has a bunch of swinging chairs going around the top and like hanging off of the fucking roof. And then there's another one that just goes like this and then just drops you straight down. Fucking scary, but super electrifying.
Yeah. I'd be down for that. I need to get to
Oh,
Vegas and just like
Yeah, you
there's
guys would
roller
love Vegas.
coasters on the side of the street too.
just gamble all
Yeah,
my money
well,
away
yeah,
and
yeah.
come home with
The
nothing.
New York Hotel is the one that has the roller coasters kind of off the side of the building.
Yeah.
I've been twice. I went when I was 12, so again, didn't go to Vegas. And I also went when I was 18, didn't go to Vegas. So I played the second time was to play golf and then hang out with my dad for like a day, and then we drove back from Vegas all the way up to the to Canada. and he was on a big road trip with my stepmom, and she had to fly back for work, but I came
Like,
down
yo, that's
instead.
a fucking fat ass day trip there.
It is, yeah.
Yeah, it was
Like,
two
hey,
two days.
you wanna go to Vegas? What? We'll be back by dinner.
Yeah, almost 2 days to get back. We were in Canada like on the second day. We left like
Mhm.
early morning on the first day, got to Twin Falls, Idaho, and then drove back the rest of the way.
Yeah,
Gotcha.
because it's like what, like 16-hour drive straight?
Yeah, more like
Yeah.
18 or 20. But
Yeah,
again,
I know that just because my uncle and my aunt drive from like here to Palm Springs.
oh, there you go. Yeah.
And they're like, it's a
So
2-day affair.
it is, yeah. And again, it's 20 hours, but again, through Utah, highways are 140. So it's like
Woo!
80 miles an hour, so 140 kilometers. Yeah, so
Goddamn.
you can haul. You can definitely get hauling through that stretch, through most of Arizona. It's like a little stretch of Arizona, all of Utah, some of Idaho is all 140, which is pretty cool. So
Bet you it's not as an interesting drive as here to Manitoba.
actually, it wasn't that bad because again, you go through some of Oregon and Washington, you get to the mountains, some
No,
beautiful.
yeah, I'm
Oh,
sure.
he's being sarcastic as
Oh,
I
fuck right
know, yeah, I know.
now.
Exactly.
bro, that 14 hours through the prairies, nothing beats it,
Oh,
bro. Nothing beats it.
love it, love it.
Fucking hell.
Throw on some left side heavy to get you through the drive. That'll
Yo, I got sick and tired of everyone's voice. I was like, I've listened to 8 episodes of Part of My Take straight, and I fucking hate this guy now. I had to get people to just like, yo, can you just call me to like help me keep me sane? Like, I just,
you can mix in a Call Her Daddy podcast here and there.
oh yeah, seriously, spice it up a bit.
Yeah.
Put one of George's audiobooks on where I'm just, but keep things interesting. No, but Scott, I left when I left Manitoba. I left at 8 in the morning. Went to a golf course in Saskatchewan, which was about 3 hours away. Played golf from 11 to 3, and then I drove straight from Saskatchewan, like about maybe an hour northeast of Humboldt,
Okay, yeah.
and I bombed straight to Cranbrook. 13
Wow.
hour, 13-hour drive. I got to
Sure.
Cranbrook at 4:15 in the morning. I wanted to die, dude. I drove through Alberta in pitch black.
It's black, yeah, no kidding. And then through the Rocky Mountains too, like yeah, yikes.
It was stupid. I was dumb, but like it was the best sleep of my life once I got to Cranbrook. And then when I drove home from Cranbrook, it was the most beautiful drive ever because there's actually scenery around me and
Yeah.
some like turns to keep me in the zone instead of
What
driving
time of year was
straight.
this? Time of year.
Oh, this is just like last month.
Okay, yeah. So or like spring, yeah, beautiful.
Yeah.
Good weather, it's awesome.
Yeah, but like, man, driving
Love it.
that 8 hours straight in the farmland, it,
It's
it was tough to get through. All right, continuing on with Vegas. Mark Stone had a couple back surgeries this year. Friedman came out and kind of said that like it wouldn't be a surprise if he's kind of like in and out of the lineup for the rest of his career. But I think it was kind of taken out of context. But it seems like his second back surgery will like kind of bring him back to 100% health and it should fix the problem. But if it ever does arise again, then like something like this could really take out the consistent appearances in lineups in the future. And it's just such a shitty thing that Mark Stone had to go through, but hopefully everything works out for him in the future. Because like the way he played in the finals, like he could have won the Conn Smythe, and I wouldn't have been surprised.
he could have. He was in the running for sure. He's such a horse, right? He's such a player, and although he's not the most fleet foot, he's not the fast skater, not the flashiest player by any means. He just makes the right plays all the
Yeah,
time, all over the ice, and he's a menace, and definitely, I mean, he's a captain, so he's a big part of why the Knights won the cup. And yeah, like you said, I thought when you first sent me that news take, I was like, this is a joke. It's got to be a joke. But again, looking into it now a little bit, it's unfortunate. You're right.
yeah,
And what does it mean? I don't know. Like his career, although he may still play, 75 plus games in the next couple of years, but his career might be very well shortened. Or
Yeah.
it could be he plays 30, 40 games a year and is injured for stretches at a time. Like it's really unfortunate, like you said. So
Yeah. I mean, like, Hayden, are you not picking Stone? Like, take health out of the equation. Are you not picking Stone to like build, maybe not be the centerpiece of building your team around, but like I'm taking Stone on my team every single day of the week.
Absolutely. Guy is a workhorse.
It's like,
And he's so inspirational, and that's what you need a captain to be, right? Like he looked so happy when they won the cup and he got like his hat trick. Like, it was
yeah,
so well deserved.
yeah.
So well deserved. Absolute baller Mark Stone is.
Yeah, it's just like he's batting down pucks, makes his defensive plays are so seamless. Like it's not even like he's trying back there, and it's just like he's scoring massive goals at massive times, and it's just
Mm-hmm.
yeah, it's like he's the last person I want to play against. And it was so frustrating when I needed Florida to get some momentum because I was cheering for them, and then Mark Stone would just disrupt it and then go down and score a goal. And I'm like, fuck this guy.
Yeah, fuck off, man.
Yeah.
that's funny.
But yeah, so hopefully I think Stone should be okay going forward, but hopefully hopefully that's still the case. But going into some hires here. I'm gonna just rattle off some. Jason Spezza hired as Pittsburgh's assistant general manager. Kind of funny how they hired the assistant GM before the actual GM. So we'll kind of see what direction they go with that. Travis Green hired as assistant coach for New Jersey. Good to see him back in the league. Um, Michael Pekka hired as assistant coach for the Rangers to Peter Laviolette. Leclerc and Patrick Sharp hired by the Flyers as special advisors to the general manager. And same goes for Jerome McGinley in Calgary. He is hired as special advisor to the general manager. So, boys, I kind of rattled off a few there, but pick and choose out of the litter. What are your thoughts on these hires?
I'll take Aginla, as he was the U15 coach here at the Rink Academy in Kelowna, and I think this is a big upgrade in job. This is kind of a joke, but it's good for him. He's such a fit in Calgary, and just now that his kids are off playing in Seattle and in Kelowna, um, he's they're fine. Joe's in Edmonton Oil Kings, and then Tidge is now with the Rockets, but he was in Seattle. It's like though, he's a good fit in Calgary. I think that's what the Flames need. A little
Yeah.
bit of injection of that. Okay, here's a guy that's like done a lot for this organization, and with Craig Conroy there as well, who's a big part of. I think he was a center for a long time, right? Like
Yeah.
it's this is just a changing of the guard. Kind of like when Joe Sakic took over the Avalanche. I have that same kind of vision, ahead of what's gonna happen. Maybe the Flames won't win a cup within 6 years, but like he's there, he needs to be there. That's just the right fit for Ginla to be involved in the organization somehow. So good for him.
Hayden,
Yeah, I was gonna take the Iginla one as well.
that's your boy.
My dad's boy, McGinley.
McGinless.
Yeah, exactly. So I think that is absolutely a great hire. It just reminds me of the Sedins with the Canucks, Like they have a bit that he's gonna have a huge voice in that whole higher up place. So just having him in there right now is going to be absolutely huge. And I think that was like the best news I saw in the past week of like hires.
Yeah. I just think like Gimlet is Calgary Flames. Like when you think about the Flames, the first player you think of is
Oh, yeah.
Iginla.
Israel. Yeah.
And I can only imagine that this is like the introduction to a possible promotion to assistant GM or head of scouting or head of player development or something along those lines. Now that Craig Conroy's in there, I think it's going to take a few years to get again maybe a possible general manager role, but I think he'll really thrive in the scouting development kind of areas where he can really like. He's a fucking goddamn Hall of Famer, one of the best power forwards this game's ever seen. So I think like him having an eye on what prospects will fit with the team and what direction to go in, I think his words and like his point of view will really help this team flourish. As much as I hate to say it, because I fucking hate Calgary, but no,
And
I think this is A+ higher by Calgary.
absolutely. And to your point, Jeff, and even like if he's just gonna be, if he hops on the ice with the guys and says a
Yeah,
word to the forwards, like one or two pieces of advice could make a huge difference in a young player's life. Like you look at someone like, Perot who's coming there, um, or sorry, Jacob Pelche. Sorry, not Perot, that's the Ducks guy. Jacob Pelche, in Calgary, who's a young guy. He could lean on again for that kind of experience and
yeah,
um, what like you said, whatever prospects come through that system, they're going to need that advice. And someone like Huberdeau might really benefit a lot from having that voice in the room and getting Huberdeau back on the 100-point track and being the superstar playmaker that he is. So it's I'm with you. I'm with you guys. Great hire. The other one I want to mention actually is Peter Laviolette in New York.
yeah. We talked about that last week, but
Mhm.
I'll
I
just
want to hear your piece on it. I want to hear your
mention
piece
it
on it.
quickly. Again, him with Pekka, like former player. Laviolette's been a successful coach all over the NHL. Has a cup with the Hurricanes. I think maybe one more as well. And he's been to a few cup finals with the Flyers, I believe, and then with Nashville in 2017. He's been there, and I think the Rangers. Maybe this, you could say this about every team, but maybe that's the piece that gets them over the edge. Like
Yeah,
the Rangers are deep, and they're good. And when Shesterkin's rolling, they're a tough out for
yeah.
anybody. And we'll see who they keep of their forwards of Kaner and Tarasenko that they picked up at the deadline. But their defense is young and they're talented and they're nasty to play against. And then their forward group is pretty solid. Add, like a younger solid forward, maybe Kako or Lafreniere take a step forward. Who knows? But that's a scary team with a good coach. Who knows what could happen?
Yeah, like we had this conversation last week about like whether they should have gone new or if recycled coach or an experienced coach was the right move. And Emil last week, our guest, um, he said it perfectly that like New York has the pieces, but like they haven't really had a coach that's like gone the distance before, or like at least in a long time. And like Vigneault did it, we know that, but like since him, like David Quinn and Gallant haven't really been the guys. They've had good regular seasons, but the playoff success is kind of not there.
Yeah.
It's not
Gone
existent
with
with those
one cup
guys.
final. We went to one
Yeah,
cup final, but again, that was kind of an anomaly year, if you will.
yeah. So
Um,
so I think like Laviolette coming in and having that experience, he's been known to just stick around for 3 years and whatever. So like he's been able to have success in short stints. He had a good winning percentage with Washington, older team, so it's kind of harder to get to that next level after they've already won the cup with an old team. They're kind of just like not necessarily not motivated. It's just like their pep and their step isn't as high. So
you still have them on
I think with a young team in New York, they have the pieces to get it done. And I think Laviolette really helps with that. And I think New York could take a big step in the playoffs next year with that.
well said.
And I want to touch on Spezza because like it is weird that like they hire an assistant GM before the general manager, but it just seems like Spezza he left Toronto when Dubas left, so it seems that relationship's super close, and Spezza's helped, or Spezza like Dubas meant a lot to Spezza, and I think he wants to stick around this game in that kind of role for a while. So, what do you think about Spezza and like his role with Pittsburgh?
Well, I mean, it makes sense with Dubas being the president of hockey ops there, right? That's it. It fits. I think they're bros, and like they're gonna have a stamp on that Penguins team. Again, depending on how long they are there, post Crosby, with Crosby here, maybe they take another crack at the cup. I don't know. Again, when Crosby's on your team, I think you have to give it at least a shot. Um, But yeah, we'll see. I like it. I mean, it's very like logical. It makes sense.
Yeah.
Where you go, your buddy goes, like it's like the hey, I know a guy, like I'll hire this, bring my buddy
Yeah.
along, right? It's one of those, and like Dubas is a good hockey mind, and Spezza was in this game for a very long time, drafted in 01. Like, yeah, there's no brainer here, in my opinion.
Yeah. Hey, Travis Green in New Jersey. Rough end to his tenure in Vancouver, but I don't necessarily know if I can pin the entire blame on Green because Jim Benning and Aquilini put together an absolute travesty here for
Yeah.
him to work with. It's like you can only make such a good meal with shitty ingredients given to you.
Hmm.
So Travis Green has a whole new blueprint in New Jersey. Young, beautiful constructed roster. Everyone on bargain deals. I was going to get to it later, but we may as well toss it in now. Jesper Bratt signed for 8 years, $63 million, 7.875 average. So you got him on a bargain, Hughes on a bargain, Meyer looking at an extension. Like, we got guys and prospect pool just beautifully set up. He doesn't have to take the full responsibility as the head coach. He's coming in as assistant. I honestly think that this could be a good move to revive his coaching career, and I think he can provide a lot of good insight for New Jersey and maybe that Andrew Brunette replacement now that he's in Nashville. But hey, what are your thoughts on Travis Green coming in as New Jersey's assistant coach?
Yeah, like you said, definitely a rough ending to his tenure here in Vancouver, but I feel like New Jersey knows what they're doing. And they said, well, you know what, Vancouver, kind of a shit managed team.
Yeah,
So we got a bunch of young guys here that we want you to coach up. We made it further than we were expecting to this year. And we just need someone like you to come in and coach them up. And I think this is great. It leaves a salty taste in my mouth where it's like, oh wow, he's gonna go to a successful team, and or like at least they're showing success, and we're just stuck in the dump still. It's like fuck.
yeah. It's just like another man's trash is another man's treasure, or whatever the
Oh,
fuck the saying is.
absolutely.
I may have butchered that 100%, but
Nope. One man's trash is another man's treasure.
that's what it is. But Scott, your thoughts on the hire? You like it?
Yeah, I like it. New Jersey and New York, I just talked about the Rangers a bit. Those two teams are going to be fighting a war in that Metro Division for the next 5 years. Like, two really good teams. That decor, especially let's say Luke Hughes is still a prospect. Luke Hughes, Simon Nemec, I would argue are two of the best defense prospects in the NHL. They're not the best. I'll get to that later. But
Drysdale.
well, yeah, well, he's technically not draft prospect anymore.
Yeah, I know.
Zellweger, Minchikov. Anyways, whatever, not a big deal. Um, it's
Zellweger.
Zellweger's a beast.
Yeah.
But no, seriously though, like Luke Hughes is probably the number one defense prospect now, and Nemec is a really close, probably second or third. And those two guys, I think Nemec, and that's why Severson's gone. I'm not sure if you're gonna bring that up later, but Severson's now a Columbus Blue Jacket,
Yeah.
and I think because of Nemec's progression and his growth, he's I think just turned 20, maybe still 19. He's gonna turn 20 this year. Kid's he's gonna be a machine. Like
Yeah.
I remember when he got drafted, his comp was like his ceiling was Scott Niedermayer, like type of player. And dude,
Decent player.
just yeah, not a big deal.
Yeah.
If he's like, 2/3 of that, like look out because you've got Hamilton there, you've got Luke Hughes, you've got Siegenthaler is really solid. Like
Yeah.
she's coming through the system,
Even
and
John Marino is a depth
um,
defenseman too. Like he's a
Marino's a
good
solid guy. Yeah, like dude, what a
he's
team!
and you still have many more years of Dougie Hamilton if he plays the way he did last year. And like this team
What
ceiling is
what a team! And Jack
fucked.
Hughes is so good. Like, and you said they just signed Bratt, probably a fair price. Might be regretting it in years 6 and 7 and 8, but
He's still
like
young though. He's like what, 26?
he's 26. I think he's 25 or 26. He's young. He's still young, yes,
Yeah.
but again, later in his year. And they're gonna have to sign, they'll have to sign Luke Hughes, Nemec, and then they've got Meyer, who they're probably gonna sign, which would be amazing for them. They need a guy like that. And then get some guys around Jack, and they'll be rolling. Jack Hughes is a superstar. He's a heck of a player.
Yeah, that team's gonna be really exciting to watch in the next few years.
Mm-hmm.
All right, so this is gonna kind of segue into the reason why we brought you on, Scotty. So we're gonna talk some trade talks. There are some rumors out there. One take I kind of heard, or I guess like we can talk like kind of like free agency trade bait kind of board or whatever. But Chicklets boys talked about more so Matt Murley potential Barbashev to New Jersey instead of Meyer. Same kind of player, but Barbashev will make half of what Meyer will want. Barbashev wants around 5.5 to 6, where Meyer might be pushing for 8 to 9. So like Barbashev reverse hit Gudis and put him out for a period. So like that kind of grit, heavy hitting style player who can produce with high skill players. Barbashev, that would be a pretty piece for New Jersey to have.
And Barbashev, the two-time Stanley Cup champion, and a guy that would play alongside Jack Hughes.
Yeah.
Again, speaking of, so he played with Jack. That first line with Marshall Eichel and Barbashev, that's
Fucking wagon.
unbelievable. Unbelievable. So you think about this: you get Jesper Bratt, Jack Hughes, Ivan Barbashev. That's your first line, dude. Forget about it.
Yeah, New Jersey's gonna be so fucking good, dude.
So
Holy
good. If they
shit.
even if they just re-sign Meyer, like Meyer, underrated amount of grit. Like
Yeah,
he
no, he
doesn't
can hit, dude. That guy can throw his body around.
and he's big. He's like big. He's so good at protecting the puck. Like he's a really good piece with Jack. He's kind of create that space for Jack Hughes and give Jack Hughes an inch, he'll take a mile.
Yeah.
He's just that kind of player. So I like that. Barbashev or Meyer, to be honest. I'm easy with either. If they can get Barbashev for cheaper, great. He has 2 cups. Meyer doesn't. That might be the difference between them.
Yeah. Yeah, and Meyer even looked even bigger with the fishbowl he was rocking in the final few games of the playoffs. I was like,
Nice.
dude, this guy looks like a beast. But trade talk. So per on like Over Puck Empire's Instagram, they post a lot of takes. So I kind of got a lot of these from there. But got a potential DeBrincat, like Detroit's kind of calling in on him. DeBrincat also said he's kind of open to going to Florida, so that could be interesting. Carlson, Erik Karlsson got a few years left at a very high cap hit, over $11 million. They're really going to be pushing to trade him this summer. Dubois, there's a ton of teams in on him. Montreal, LA, Rangers. And he's going to be looking for around $9 million. Edmonton's in on a few guys, and Olofsson, Konechny, Scott Lawton,
I thought
Tristan
Jonathan Taze
as a fourth
was
liner.
as a fourth liner. I'm like, that would be fucking sick.
But like Hayden, is there any name that kind of jumps off the page for you and kind of like a trade that you would like to see, or a player on a new destination? Anything that jumps out to you?
Definitely the first name you said, Alex DeBrincat. Him going to Florida would be absolutely insane.
Yeah.
I very much love that move, and I think everyone in Florida would love that move. Not only is he like a power forward, I guess you could say, like he's a power forward, I'd say, but he's also like a playmaker.
Yeah.
He's not as gritty as Kachuk is, but he'll get in there. He'll be. I feel like he has the ceiling to be like a 90 to 100 point player on the right team.
Absolutely. Well, he's almost not a lock to score 40 goals, but he's a very dynamic offensive threat that would complement what the Panthers have really well. And maybe again, Nick, I think in the playoffs, at least the Panthers' second line was Sam Bennett and Nick Cousins. Drop Cousins down to the third line and put DeBrincat in there.
Put DeBrincat right there. Yeah.
Yeah.
What a line! What a line that is.
Because I just think if you throw like DeBrincat, like I don't necessarily know if he can like drive a line, but you saw he put up 2 40-goal seasons when he was playing with Kane, and obviously not everyone is Patrick Kane of 3 years ago. Like, but if you put him with a playmaker, there's a good chance he's clipping at least 35 goals. And
Absolutely.
I think that helps any team at least have a chance for a run for a Stanley Cup. And I think anyone would love DeBrincat's services for sure. It's just his qualifying offer is upwards of $9 million. So it's gonna just be like what team's gonna be willing to pay that. And honestly, Detroit, shout out Ian McNaughton. Um, I think that would be a really interesting team, but like Detroit's like in this very weird stage right now where it's like I'm not quite sure where they are. They're like similar to Buffalo, very fringe playoff contender. Just a
Yeah.
matter of can they take that next step. So we'll see. Does Eric Carlson get traded?
Not yet.
Not this summer?
I think so.
No. It's
I think
such a
it would
hard
be
contract to trade.
next deadline, or it would be the next summer. Like you said, it's because it's such big money. Because I think is it what it's either 9.5 or is it 11? Might be 11.
Well, his AAV over the X amount of years that he signed for was 11 and a half or
Yeah,
11.
it's 11. Yeah. So it just like you said, huge money. So it could be. I don't think it's gonna happen. I think he had too good of a year. Maybe it does happen this summer. And does it get packaged with the fourth overall pick for something? Who knows? We can talk about that a bit later, I'm sure. But yeah, it'll be an interesting summer in San Jose for a lot of reasons, but
Yeah.
that's one of them.
Hey, do you think he gets traded?
Not this summer.
Yeah.
I could maybe see like deadline to a team that desperately needs an offensive defenseman, but yeah, like you said, this contract is such a hard contract to move,
Yeah, I just think there's too
and
many years remaining.
there is, especially with the age that he's at right now.
Yeah. Like, what does he have? 3 years left, like, including next year? So, like,
Yeah,
next year and then 2 more after that. So it's like,
it's a lot.
if it was like $8 million, it's much easier to move. But like 11, that's especially when the cap hasn't gone up as much as it should have.
Mm-hmm.
It's tough.
Exactly.
But last one before we get to the draft. Pierre-Luc Dubois. So this guy has been nothing but demanding trades for the past 3 years. He's
Whole
informed.
career, really.
Yeah, he's informed. Wasn't happy with his time with Columbus. Managed trade. He was very happy to go to Winnipeg. Loves the hockey market. Blah 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 blah. A year after getting traded to Winnipeg, he tells them, "Hey, I'm not going to be re-signing. I want to get traded before my contract's up. Whatever." He has one more year of RFA status before hitting the unrestricted. What do we think about Dubois? Like, does he maybe get traded at the draft? Like, he really wants to go to Montreal, but like, are you really willing to trade for a guy who's going to hit UFA status if he might just dip out if he's not happy with it? Like, what do you do with this Dubois situation, Hayden? If you're
Well,
other team, like if you're the teams.
oh man, yeah, it is hard because he's shown that he just doesn't want to play if it's in the wrong situation. So how do you know if you're in the right fucking situation?
Yeah, you can't really predict it.
Yeah, exactly. And especially a team like Montreal where they're not in like the best shape at all for any part of the East.
Yeah.
So you add that in with every team in the Eastern Conference, and it's like, where do you put Montreal if we're assuming that Montreal is the team to be? And yeah, like for a player like Dubois who's shown so much interest and so much hate of being not on a team or not wanting to be on a team, that's risky. That's super risky.
Yeah. Scott, what do you think happens with PLD?
Oh, he's gonna be a huge hit at the draft. I think something big's gonna happen in the draft. Montreal's got their fifth overall pick. Whether Dubois is on the other side of that trade, I don't know. We'll have to see. The Jets, I think, pick at 16 or 17. I believe it's something in like the middle-ish tier.
Yeah.
And yeah, I think, yeah, he's gonna be a big asset. I'll throw this out there. I wouldn't be surprised if one of these three, him, Scheifele, or Hellebuck, are gone, or multiple of them. To be
Mhm.
honest,
I think Hellebuck and Pierre-Luc Dubois are gone, and I think Scheifele might be back for a year and then traded. Because I think it came out Hellebuck's looking for over $9 million a year on a long-term deal. And
I think he
but
wants to win too. I think that's part of it. He wants to
yeah,
win. He's a hell of a goalie. That could
LA?
be. He honestly wouldn't be that surprised. I could
Yeah.
see Los Angeles, especially with how
Edmonton?
their goaltending carousel has been. The Oilers are an option. I think the Oilers think Stuart Skinner is their goalie, but that's a whole other
Yeah.
conversation.
Yeah.
You could even argue, wow, there's a bunch of teams. You could
Yeah.
look at someone like Minnesota.
Yeah.
You
Well,
could
Minnesota could be interesting for sure. Gustafson, he was up, like he was really good. So like
really
good,
get, but he's not Connor Hellebuck.
yeah.
So
Not a lot of goalies are, but like I think we were talking about this. Like Winnipeg's going to be one of the most interesting teams this offseason. The
absolutely,
Pierre-Luc Dubois narrative is going to be really interesting. But just the goalie market in general, there could be a fucking carousel. There could be like 6 different good goalies on different teams next year.
yeah. And
John
we thought,
Gibson, Carter Hart, Connor Hellebuck, Tristan Jarry, fucking Thatcher Demko. His name's been in there. Like
yeah, absolutely.
no goalie's safe, it seems, right now.
I
And
would say everyone except for Aiden Hill is safe, but he might be gone too.
he's asking for a lot, 5x5 probably. He's looking for around $4 million. I don't know if Vegas can afford that, but
Why
uh
wouldn't you? Cup.
yeah,
So yeah,
amen. But Scott, it's that time, baby. You told me, I asked you to come on a few weeks ago and you pigeon tossed me and it was like, nah, Jevin, I don't want to come on right now. Ask me around the draft. I want to come on the draft and I want to give my intake on the draft. And this draft, my man, it is one of the highest potential drafts. The top 5 could go first overall in any other draft, but this year it's just so highly touted with so much fucking talent. But there's a ton of storylines circulating. Obviously, you got the draft lottery where Columbus absolutely got defeated before their card was even flipped. And then you got Bedard most likely landing in Chicago, one all-time American to one of the next generational talents in Connor Bedard. It's so interesting, but I want to hear just your overall outlook. Like, just when you look at this draft class, what is the consensus that you give it, the scouting report that you give this draft class?
so the draft class itself is very exciting, but let me just say, buckle up. This draft is going to be wild with a lot of twists and turns, and I think we're going to see a lot of unexpected things. I do have a mock top 10, and I think you might be surprised by some of the picks as to why they are. And I really, especially like you mentioned, Pierre-Luc Dubois and some of the guys on the Jets, I think that's going to cause havoc. And the rumors swirling about Montreal trading their pick, like there's a bunch of shit going on, and I'm here for it. So should be
Can,
fun.
can you change your mock top 10 to a top 11 so I can see who you
Oh
picked
yes,
Vancouver for?
I can throw the Canucks pick in there. Yeah, I figured.
Thank you.
Yeah, yeah.
You can't blue
I do
balls me
have.
like that, man.
I have. I've got my list here. I've got 11 honorable mention. I've got my top 11. We'll call it now, and then I've got 8 honorable mentions
I
for it.
wanna
So
before you get to that, I wanna ask me and Hayden prep some questions for you, just to test your knowledge on
bring
some
it on.
prospects and everything like that. So Hayden, I'll kick the can first. I think the biggest name circulating in this draft is obviously Connor Bedard, but everyone's kind of pushed him aside because he's been consensus number 1 ever since birth. So Mitchkov,
Ah,
arguably the second most talented player in this draft. I think word around there is like this kid is the real deal. But he's got this whole situation over in Russia that's tanking his draft stock. And I'm getting a little taste of Vasily Podkolzin vibes from his draft here. Top 3 talent, but slides down to what, 10 to Vancouver? What
you went
like
10 to Vancouver.
what's his what's this whole vibe surrounding Mitchkov?
So here's what I've heard, and here's what I kind of have in mind. I'm not gonna say my mock draft yet. I'm gonna wait for that.
Yeah.
But I know Mitchkov has refused to talk to teams. There's certain teams that he's refused to talk to, and I think it has a lot to do with some of the teams that are in the top 10, both why he doesn't want to go there, and teams that he would want to go to. Mitchkov is all world. 2021, he lit up U18s, lit up the U18s in Texas, and in like a semi bubble when that was. And he's not big. He's I think listed at 148 pounds. That obviously can change. He's 5'10, so he definitely has a lot of room to grow. But is this kid ever talented and smart? Think Nikita Kucherov. I love
Oh,
player comps. Think Kucherov. Think like that very kind of very smart, dynamic, like unpredictable offensive juggernaut, if you will. Plays that right side on the half wall on the power play, like creates havoc in the offensive zone. Defender have no idea what he's gonna do. Just slick, just pure slick. And does he needs to bulk up for sure. But the kid's dynamic.
damn. Mitchkov to Vancouver confirmed. Vasily's gonna pull some strings. Hey, did you have a question for Scotty regarding the
Yeah, I
draft?
do. I do. You almost kind of took mine, but you basically reworded it. So I'll move on to question 2 for you, Scott. You have obviously your top 10, you have your top 5. But now
Yes.
outside of your top 5, who do you believe could jump in and be the 5th best player in this draft? So like from like 6 to 10, who do you think could surpass and be one of the top 5?
Okay, interesting. Without giving away too much of my mock top 10,
Mm-hmm.
I'm gonna say a sleeper guy that I've seen a lot of people not put as high as they should is David Reinbacher, and that's purely he's a defenseman, the Austrian defenseman, and that's less about well, there's a few factors involved with that, but I think because he is arguably the best defenseman available in the draft, um, as to why he might jump. And I look at a team like San Jose, like Montreal, these guys at 4 and 5 who probably need a defenseman. San Jose's kind of got an empty shelf of prospects. Eklund's there, but he's a forward. So you look at Reinbacher as a good fit there. Montreal's got Caden Gooley in their system, and they've got Caulfield who's still young, Suzuki who's still young. Why not go with a right shot defenseman like Reinbacher, right? I think he's the guy. If anyone's gonna jump, him or Zach Benson.
Zach Benson looks electrifying.
He does.
Some of his highlight tape is like next level legit.
Electric Factory. And you think about Mark's like a more skilled Mark Stone, that's
Well,
kind of your comp right there. And Mark Stone just won a cup.
I
So
mean, we were just pumping his
it's
tires about 20 minutes ago, so
why not
yeah.
get a guy like that on his team, on your team? Like those are the two I would say that could jump. The rest, it's weird because in situation there is like they're kind of for me at least there kind of is an established top 5-ish players, and they are all forwards. But again, will all of those 5 go in the top 5? I don't think so.
Yeah.
And
Mm-hmm.
you'll see why in a second.
So,
Um,
without like, uh, once again, I'm gonna sound like a broken record here. Without giving away your mock, what's going around is like Mitchkov with his whole drama surrounding his draft day thing and like not talking to teams, whatever, and it's tanking his stock. He's consensus second best talent. Now it's like he might slip out of the top 5. It's like people can see him going around 8 to 10, which is like crazy. A player that's kind of slid up the ranks is Will Smith. And he had a year better than Jack Hughes had at the U.S. National Development Program. And everyone loved the hype about pretty boy Jack Hughes, who's obviously a superstar fringe top 5 center in the league right now. What is it about Will Smith that makes him the real deal that's making him climb into the top 5?
just dynamic, top 6 playmaker. He's like think, ooh, he's a tough guy to comp. Like maybe Nick Backstrom,
Okay.
maybe that kind of vibe. He's money. So good puck handling. Yeah, just generally talented top six forward. He's not. He's flashy. He's got some dynamic skill. I just don't think very generic, crisp, um, top six playmaker in Will Smith, and I think he's gonna be fun to watch. Whatever team he plays for, and I think he'll fit whatever team really needs a true like center, whether that be a 1C or a 2C. Like again, his floor is probably like a third line center, but his ceiling's like a very elite second line center or like a really good first line center with a good winger on his side.
All right. Hey, why don't you rip another one at him?
Who is your back half steal of the draft?
Ooh, I actually do have a good answer for this.
Good
So
question,
I was
Hayden.
watching
Good question.
questions. I like that. So there's two guys that come to mind. Actually, maybe three. Let's call it three. There's three guys that come to mind that I have really been drawn to. One of them plays for the Vancouver Giants, Samuel Honzek, who's projected to go kind of late first round. I think he might jump a lot because he's a big, dominant power forward that can put the puck in the net. So he's going to be a guy I would look out for. There's two more. Gavin Brindley played for the U.S. World Junior team. I think he used the U.S. national program. He's going to be I think he was at Michigan this year, actually. He's a Michigan kid. There's a few of those in this draft. He is like a mix of Barzal and Arvidsson.
Oh,
Is kind of your player comp for him. Exciting, dynamic, quick, like plays with a bit of bite. He definitely is small, but can the kid ever move? He flies up and down the ice, and he was playing in college with bigger boys, like more closer to men than like the CHL or U18 program. So he's a guy that I would look out for. And then the other one who might end up going to Canucks, and there's been rumors of this guy going as high as 10, but one draft ranking show had him at like 31, is Tom Wallinder, the
okay.
Swedish right shot guy, good two-way kind of presence on the ice. He's someone I would look out for as well.
I heard
Um,
Vancouver likes him a lot.
I think the Canucks do. I think they might. Well, we'll see. They actually might go with him. That's a very Canucks pick, to be honest. But also,
Swedish
I think
players.
Swedish players, but it also fits their needs. The
Yeah.
right shot defenseman, right? So it very well could be him. There's a couple of Swedish guys it could be. So I'll talk about the other guy later. But um, yeah, those I would say so. Go Honzek as a guy to move up the draft, possibly. Gavin Brindley, if a team has a pretty big team, they need some like flashy skill. He's a guy that would go there, bring some speed to that lineup. And then Tom Linder is a solid two-way defenseman that might go as high as top 15.
Love it. Love it. Well, I have questions, but it might expose your mock. So, Hayden, if you don't mind, I want to hear Scott's mock 11 now. And then after that, I can throw in a few more questions to build off of that. So you either start at 1 because everyone knows the consensus one, and then tease me to hear what you got Vancouver at 11 for.
Yeah, absolutely, absolutely. So the whole world knows this. Barring a trade, Connor Bedard's going to the Chicago Blackhawks. I don't think there's anything that you can do to give up that pick. Pretty easy, cut and dry. Everyone knows what Bedard can do. It's self-explanatory. He's going to change that franchise around. Number 2 is going to be Adam Fantilli to the Anaheim Ducks, the boys. My boys here. I'm honestly, when I found out, because the Ducks had the best odds at the number 1 pick, when I saw we only fell one spot, I wasn't all that disappointed because this is maybe a little bit biased, but Fantilli's floor is a second line center. His ceiling is Mark Messier.
Jeez.
I think he could be that good. The Moose, he's big, he can move, he can shoot, he can score, plays with a bit of bite. Fantilli's a gamer. He played in the World Championships with men. He played in college with bigger boys. Like, he's ready. He won the Hobie Baker. What a year for this guy.
He's a good consolation prize.
very good consolation prize, and he
So I've
fits the
seen you've been watching a lot of Adam Fantilli highlight tapes then too.
one could
with
one
the
could say that.
with the
Hey,
lotion right beside him.
Yeah.
one could say that. And again, Bedard should be the consensus number one. I doubt there's any reason Chicago would take Fantilli at one, unless if. But I mean, the Hawks need everything, and Bedard's the best way to start that franchise. So I think go with that. Fantilli at 2 to Anaheim. I'm stoked, but we'll move on. Carlson at 3 to Columbus. Lou Carlson, big Swedish center, played in the World Juniors as an underager. Just classic two-way center, super solid. Think Kopitar. I think Kopitar's probably his best comp. Bigger guy, can move, can shoot. Like solid NHL player he's gonna be. Number 4, I've got Will Smith going to San Jose. The Sharks need a center. Eklund is probably going to end up playing wing in the NHL. I think he should. So get a guy like Will Smith in there, bring some more dynamic two-way play back to San Jose. They're kind of falling off the tracks a bit. Couture's in the back 9 of his career. So bringing Will Smith in to kind of, quote, fill that void will be huge. Number 5, Montreal is going to take David Reinbacher to go with Caden
Ooh.
Gooley. The prospects there. Reinbacher kind of talked about him a bit earlier. Big right shot defenseman, played for Austria. So a tough team to play for, but he munched a lot of minutes for that team and faced tough matchups when they played World Juniors. He's a guy to look out for. Number 6 is Arizona. Arizona has picks at 6 and 12. So I think that the guy they're gonna take at 12 is gonna be I'll just say the 12th pick because he won't be on their draft quickly. Dmitry Simishev, who's one of the arguably the top defensive defensemen in this draft. Russian kid. He's gonna go 12 to Arizona, but 6 is gonna be Zach Benson because Arizona needs some talent. Also, Benson played for the Winnipeg Ice, and I think Connor Geekie would really like that, the kid they took last year. With their second pick of the draft, the Coyotes had 3 picks in the first round. The second one was the boys from Winnipeg Ice, so that was really cool. All right, and I think let's go 7th overall. Philadelphia's got this pick, and they're gonna take Ryan Leonard, who is a right winger, also American guy. Played with Boston College. Really good transition guy. Philly needs a lot of things in their system, and he's gonna be at that time, I would say, the best available player to the Flyers in the draft. So Ryan Leonard at 7. Number 8, Washington Capitals. Matvey Michkov will go to the Washington Capitals and kind of take over the reins from Ovechkin. This was kind of the thing. This is what I've heard, and I didn't want to spoil this earlier. The talks of Michkov refusing to talk to teams. I think one of the teams he's going to talk to is Washington.
Yeah.
And we're going to figure something out to get him over here quicker. This kind of reminds me, I read this article about how Jaromir Jagr was telling a bunch of teams in the draft that he wasn't going to be available for 3 years because of whatever commitments in the Czech Republic, and at the time it was Czechoslovakia. But he ended up coming to the Penguins because he wanted to play with Lemieux, and look how that turned out for that franchise and for that player. So I think the same thing's going to happen here. Matthew Michkov will be a Washington Capital.
Is he NHL ready like right now? Do you think?
It's hard to say. I think he needs another year in Russia.
Okay.
Maybe 2. He's going to have 3 anyways. I think he's signed under contract with CSKA, so he has to stay in Russia. But once he comes over, he's going to be a menace. Like I said earlier, think Kucherov.
That's
as your
crazy.
ceiling, which is crazy. Like the stuff he could produce. Again, he was toe to toe with Connor Bedard in the U18s. So
yeah,
if that doesn't say something, I don't know what does. So Michkov to Washington at 8. And then number 9, I've got Oliver Moore going to the Wings. Kind of like Dylan Larkin 2.0. Very speedy, quick guy, good two-way game for him. I like this pick in Detroit. A lot of experts have have him in that 7 to 11 range. I think Oliver Moore is a good pick with the defense prospects the Wings have. I think the right choice is to go to a forward, and I think he's the best one I would take kind of based on their needs. Like I said, another Dylan Larkin. Who doesn't want Dylan Larkin on their team? So
I would take Dylan Larkin on my team.
Mm-hmm.
yeah. And so that brings us to number 10. I was really flipping with this one because it depends on what happens with Michkov. If Michkov goes way higher, then I would say Oliver Moore might go to St. Louis. But at 10 for St. Louis, we've got Dalibor Dvorsky, a Slovak player who is really in the World Juniors and is kind of has moved up and down the draft stock all year. But Dvorsky, like I said, Slovak guy, was really good showing in the World Juniors. Yeah, we had 40 points in 33 games with AIK in Sweden. So he's gonna be quick guy, very good goal scorers, agile, can move around the ice really well, solid offensive player. St. Louis kind of traded away a lot of their assets, and getting a guy like him in their system is going to be huge. And that leaves me with number 11 to the Vancouver Canucks. The boys love this pick. And I talked about Tom Willander. We've talked about him. It will either be him or Axel Sandin Pellikka,
Yeah.
also a Swedish defenseman, which has been a very popular pick. Both of those guys are Willender's a bit bigger. Sandin Pellikka is a smaller guy, but man, can he move, and is he a good player. Whatever team gets Sandin Pellikka will be thriving and have like that prototypical modern day number one offensive defenseman that a lot of teams covet. And he's a right shot defenseman, which hard to argue with that. I see the Canucks taking one of either of them, and Sandin Pellikka would be a great add on that Canucks team. I think they'll take Willander.
You think they'll take Willander over Pellikka?
I think so. Yeah. I think so, but it's close.
Yeah. I think like right shot defensemen are so like they're like gold in the
They're
NHL.
like gold.
Mm-hmm.
If you have a number one center or a number one right shot defenseman, it's like you're in a good spot. So
And that's why I have Reinbacher going so high,
yeah.
right?
So yeah, that's a very interesting top 11 there's Scott. So to kind of build off that, I had a Montreal question because they're looking to move up from the 5th, but like realistically, what's it gonna take for a team 2 to 4 to say yes?
A lot. You're gonna if it's to Anaheim, you're giving up Caulfield. You're giving up that pick. You're giving up a lot. Maybe even Hayden Gooley. I would say you're probably throwing in two of your best prospects and that pick for your second overall pick to
Plus
Anaheim.
more picks, I would assume.
Definitely. Oh yeah, maybe a second round, maybe a couple other pieces here and there. For 3 and 4, like kind of the same. I don't think Columbus is going to move from 3 unless they think they can get more draft picks. Which again for a team like Columbus isn't a bad thing. And same with San Jose. Like maybe they trade. You get 4 if Montreal or if San Jose is sitting there, and the guy they want they don't get. Maybe I don't know. Let's just say Carlson maybe falls to 4, or maybe falls to I don't know. Carlson doesn't go to Montreal if they trade up, and Carlson's available at 5 for San Jose. Maybe they make that trade. Maybe Will Smith doesn't get taken at 4. There's so many moving parts. Maybe Mitch Cobb goes really early, and that makes a guy like Reinbacher available, so the team can move back. There's so many moving parts to it. And I think, like I said, kind of earlier in my mock draft, the biggest X factor here is Mitchkov, because
Yeah.
he could go as high. The Ducks won't take him. I don't think they would. That's not a Ducks pick. I think Fantilli's the right pick there, but he could go as high.
What's your reaction if Mitchkov goes 2?
It'd be stupid because they already have a guy that's high skilled, high dynamic, and Trevor Zegras. There's no reason to take another Mitchkov,
Yeah.
like another guy like him, as good as Mitchkov could.
Yeah, I love Fantilli's game, the way he throws the body around. I think it's perfect for Anaheim.
He's 6'2", 190 as an 18-year-old kid who played in college this year. Like you have to draft that. You rarely trade for that. You rarely sign that in free agency. And a guy, like I said, his ceiling's Mark Messier. I truly believe that. And that's maybe a little biased, but I think he could be that good. Like he could be a really special player
Did
for
it
a long time.
scare you a bit when he said he might go back to Michigan?
Nope.
No.
Nope, because he's gonna have another year. He's gonna dominate, and he's gonna get that season more experience with those guys. And then come his age 19, 20 season, he's gonna be like he's gonna put some weight on. He's gonna be stronger, faster, all these things. I think it's good.
I may have interpreted what he meant because I thought it was like he won't like go to the draft this year. He'll go back to Michigan and get drafted next year. That's where my mind went.
No, no,
When
no,
he
no, no.
when he
He's getting
said he
drafted
might
this year.
when I read that thing where it's like Fantilli undecided about returning to Michigan or not, I'm like, is he really thinking about like pulling himself out of the draft this year? Like, what's Scott going to think about the Ducks not getting Fantilli? But then no, like that
That
makes
would be
no sense.
upsetting. No, the Ducks are going to draft Adam, and I think a lot of his decision is personal. Ultimately, it's not about what happens with the team. The Ducks aren't going to be good next year either. Like, there's no reason for him to go and play in the NHL. He might as well go play with a really good Michigan club that's really well coached and has a great facility, just great everything around it. And he's going to have a bunch of NHL drafted or prospect guys like in there as well, like with like-minded guys, and it'll be a good fit for him. And then come his time will come, and once the Ducks have kind of had some more players develop and they get better, then I think Fantilli comes in and will play either in that second line spot or possibly even play first line, depending on how McTavish is, because McTavish is a hell of a player too. So
Hayden knows this. I'm a huge advocate of not rushing your prospects. Like if fucking
Mm.
Bedard needs a year in the minors, I'm more than happy to send him down. Chicago's going to be a fucking dumpster fire next year. Why force him to play in the NHL just because he's this generational talent? Like no, like block out the noise. Don't say like, oh, you drafted a kid who's NHL, blah 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 blah. Like whatever. If he needs an extra year, why ruin his career by forcing him to play in a league he's not ready for yet? Like, I'm a huge advocate for taking time with your prospects because the draft is a long-term game.
it is, yeah,
Like
and
Anaheim, Columbus, Chicago, they're not going to be contenders with these picks next year. Like, you got to think about like how they're going to be impacting. If they're NHL ready and they're fucking, if Bedard's ripping 75 points next year, then yeah, like don't put him in the minors. He's obviously NHL ready and he's producing with a shitty team. But like if he has 5 points in 25 games, why not like send him down or do whatever you need to do to like develop him? Like there's no point in rushing your prospects.
no, without a doubt. I think again, Bedard's 17, turning 18, and
Yeah.
he's done all the things he's done in the CHL. I think he's playing in the NHL next year, and especially he is small, but because he's got bite to his game, he's got a bit of he's not just gonna roll over. He's got some bite. He's got some skill. He's a menace to play against. He's hard to stop, and even with NHL defensemen, he's been training with the Ballasteel guys, which most of them are NHL players. So it's
He's
gonna
looking
be
off Crosby on a 2-on-1.
yeah. Well, there you go. Right.
Yeah.
He's got the confidence to do it, and he's such a good player. It's
Yeah.
unbelievable.
And you got a question for Scotty?
Yeah, I do. When do you think the first goalie will be taken?
Oof, that's a good question. To be honest, I haven't looked at a whole lot of goalies. I don't think there's that many that are going to be around. Late second round is my shot in the dark prediction. Um, it's Goalies are weird, man. Like normally, if there's a goalie that's going the first round, you're hearing about him for a long time.
Mm-hmm.
And they're gonna be sick. Like I would say, yeah, definitely by the third round, probably the second round. I would expect to see a goalie or two. Um, but like I said, goalies, it's just so hard to track development, and you don't see goalies get good until they're 22, 23,
Mm-hmm.
24, right? Like goalies that are drafted in 2016, 17 are like some of them are now just kind of getting going with NHL time. And you look at Stuart Skinner. Skinner, I'm pretty sure was drafted in 2016. Was
Yeah.
his draft year,
Oh,
and
yeah.
like
That's
he's
crazy.
just now kind of breaking the surface of being a number one goalie. That's 7 years of grinding it in the AHL and the ECHL and back in junior. Like there's lots going on there, and it's yeah. So second, third round, I would say for a goalie.
Rutherford and Alvin are shocking the world and drafting a goalie 11th overall. Book it.
Wouldn't that be something?
But yeah, hey, like Demko came on as a starting goalie like what, 2 years ago? 3 years ago?
2-3 years, yeah.
He was drafted in 2014 or something like that.
That's fucking crazy.
Like he was drafted I'm pretty sure it was 2014 or 15. Like it was before
Yes.
Brock Besser he was drafted.
It was 2014 he was drafted.
Yeah. And so it took him like
6
five
years.
like 6 years to like really get in the league, like get the starting job. So it's like goalies are like you gotta treat them like
you gotta work.
Yeah, and like they're super fragile prospects that you really gotta take your time with. But Scott, just a couple more here. Vancouver Canucks obviously haven't taken the defenseman, but what direction do you think they should take with their pick at 11?
Oh, defenseman without a doubt. The Canucks need a lot of things in their prospect pool, but I would say taking a defenseman would be the way I would go. And it depends on kind of what the offseason entails for them. I don't see them not taking a defenseman, but if a guy like Oliver Moore, Ryan Leonard, Zach Benson fall to 12. I've seen Benson rated as high as 5 and as high and low as 15. So if a guy like that with that much talent is around, I would take him. I still think they're gonna go Willander, Sandin Pellikka, Ryan Bacher. If I doubt he's gonna be there, but if he's there, I would take him there. At that range of the draft, it's kind of about needs, and the Canucks really need defensemen. So
Yeah.
I would say they're going defenseman all the way.
That's fair. I would go defenseman as well. Especially with so many like great right shot defensemen in this draft, you have to take advantage of getting one of those guys.
Getting one of them, although none of them are a list, like some of the forwards at the top of the draft, they're still all really solid and could become top pairing defensemen in the league, especially
Like an Ekblad type.
Ryan Bacher could be like Ekblad, yes. Sandy Pellikka less so. Think with him, think like Sergei Zubov
Okay.
type of vibes with him.
All right.
Think like that a little undersized but super skill, super slick defenseman like Zubov, Dan Boyle type of deal.
Oh, Dan Boyle. I remember him. Yeah,
Yeah,
he's solid.
remember him? Yeah, gold
Yeah.
medalist with Team Canada. Yeah, he thinks if you could see a guy like him roaming the ice, like put Hughes on one pair with a solid defensive guy, put Sandy Pellikka on another pair with another defensive guy, like there's a couple good right shot and a couple good defensemen right there. So
Hayden? You got any more ammo for him?
No, that was pretty much it.
All right, well, Scott, last question here in regards to draft day. Outside, like teams moving up, whatever, what trades do you think you can see happen on draft day? Like, you don't have to go like exact trades team to team, but what players can you see being shipped off or teams moving up in the draft?
for sure. Wow. There's been all kinds of talk about Montreal at 5, right? And I don't think any of the teams 2, 3, and 4 are gonna budge. One thing I will say that I think who is it? Detroit has 5 picks in the first 2 rounds. It might be 6 picks actually. No, it's 5. Including 3 in a row in the second round. So I would very much expect Detroit to maybe do something if they don't like or if they don't get a player they like at 8. Or sorry, excuse me, at 9. 9 for Detroit, sorry. If let's say, I don't know, let's say they're looking to get Ryan Leonard, or let's just say hypothetical, and they go and that player goes at 7, then maybe Detroit's looking to move down because their player is not available and get some more assets in return. It's all a waiting game, and it's all going to depend on the players that get picked. To be honest, Detroit, I could see making a move. I also see Arizona maybe making a move either up or down, probably up maybe with one of their picks, especially if they think they can get a defenseman. Let's say they take Zach Benson at 6, like I predicted, and then at 12, there's a couple defensemen that they want that are still available. Then they might move down to get another pick later in the draft. If a team really is looking to get, say, I don't know, Colby Barlow, was on the cusp of my top 12, if you will. So many moving parts there, right? It's going to be really interesting to see what happens. And yeah,
What about St. Louis? They have a few picks in the first round. Do you think they could move up or down or package some of those first to get maybe a player like maybe a
yeah,
DeBrincat to kickstart that retool?
that retool, yeah, you could definitely, yeah, I would say that. I don't think DeBrincat fits the Blues' needs or their play style. And they've got a guy in Jordan Kyrou who's already really good. But yeah, I could see them moving up to draft a guy because I think they've got their picks later in the first. They're 25 and 29, late in the first round. They could. I mean, we saw it last year, Edmonton, Minnesota, or maybe a couple years ago now, where it was like a later first round pick and a second round pick for a earlier first round, and like I could see them going for a guy like Samuel Honzek. He just screams St. Louis Blues to me for whatever reason. I talked about him earlier being a big
Yeah.
power forward, like a good. He's a winger, so we could be like an O'Reilly replacement. I also see a guy like Braden Yeager going late teens, like 17, 18, 19, 20. Like the Blues could trade those 2 first round picks for him. Braden Yeager's a Moose Jaw Warrior, super likable guy, good solid two-way center. Um, yeah, I would say St. Louis, Detroit are probably the 2 biggest movers, especially with the number of picks they have in the first 2 rounds.
Okay. That's awesome, man.
Yeah,
Well,
that's
that's about all the drafting questions we got for you. This is like I'm really excited to see what events come on draft day. It's a very exciting time, and last year there was drama with Slavkovsky going first and Shane Wright dropping to 4, so maybe Bedard will drop to 11 and come to his hometown, baby. Um,
or
but
trade Pedersen, Quinn, and that pick for the first overall pick, and who
well,
knows?
Hayde sent a trade proposal, Pedersen, Demko, in the 11th for the first. Um, I said I would do it to get Bedard.
I don't know if I do that for Chicago.
Yeah, I wouldn't do that if I was Chicago. So, but
Yeah.
no, it was very interesting. But to end this episode off, hey, how about you got something for us to, quick lighthearted thing to do to end this
Hell
episode
yeah.
off?
Hell yeah.
What are we doing?
So basically what it is you're gonna have to guess who the player is. Now, Scott, I don't know if your knowledge on the NFL is as good as the NHL.
Not as
So
good.
we'll do 2 of each. All right. And you get to guess after each one.
Okay.
But if you don't get it, then we keep moving on.
Okay.
All right. So we'll start off with the NHL. And these are all relevant players in today's day and age. There's no like legends, no old timies. They're all in today's day and age, okay?
Is it just Scott playing this, or are we like
Both.
involved? Are we like working? Are we working together to get this, or is it a
No, you're
race?
doing it separately.
Okay.
I want to see who's better with the knowledge here. So we'll
Cool.
start off with the NHL. We'll start off with the first one. So the first one, I was drafted 15th overall in the NHL draft in 2019.
Ooh, okay.
Is that the Jack? No, Jackie's is 2018.
I'm gonna give it 15 seconds each time I say it.
I'm gonna need a
So
second. Do we have to guess and then if we're wrong we keep going?
yeah. So I'm gonna say it right now. I'm gonna count down from 10 right now. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
Yeah. Okay.
Nothing.
Not even a guess. Not even a shred.
I don't know. I have guesses, but I know they're not right because I do know the draft list.
Just say them. It could be right. You never know.
Time's out. Next clue.
Next
All
clue,
right.
next.
I played college hockey from 2019 to 2021 for the Wisconsin Badgers. 15
Got it.
second start. So
Got it.
Yeah,
okay,
same here.
Scott.
Same time, Jeff.
It's Cole Caulfield.
You want Cole Caulfield, yeah.
All right. Yeah, I thought that was.
Yeah.
Yeah, I thought it was pretty easy.
Was that the Jack Hughes draft?
That was 2019 was Jack Hughes. That was when a bunch of US players, Caulfield, Zegras, Spencer Knight.
God, I knew he was a year after Quinn, but I thought Quinn was 17, but Pedersen was 17, Quinn was 18, Hughes was 19. I honestly like if I got Jack because damn it. I could have got that first try if I just got the years correct. 'Cause I knew Habs drafted at 15.
All right.
Well,
All
at least
right.
me and Scott 1-1, I guess. 0-0, 1-1, whatever you want to call it. Good job, Scotty K.
All right. So obviously that one's done. We'll go to an NFL one now.
Sure.
I was round one. I was picked in round 1, 15 overall as well in the NFL draft. Of my year deleted. Hold on. Give me a second.
I was like, dude, we're gonna need a year here, man. Like, I was drafted 15th overall in the first round. Okay.
Okay, sounds good.
Hundreds of players there.
Give me a second here. Let me. Oh God, this is bad. All right. Drafted in 2020. Round 1,
I have
15.
15th overall.
Is that so? Like the 2023 draft just happened, so 3 years ago.
I have no idea.
Trying to think of who the first pick was.
I'm gonna count down.
You get
5,
next clue, Scott?
Next
4.
clue, I have no idea.
All right. Start the 15-second timer again. I played in Alabama with multiple other first-round picks that year.
They won national championship that year too.
Okay.
5, 4,
Jalen
3,
Waddle?
2, 1.
I don't think
Wrong.
No
Okay.
idea.
No
I think,
idea.
I think
Okay.
he was like 12th overall or something. I know he went after Devontae Smith.
I am a 2-time first team all SEC player. Five, 4, 3, 2, 1.
Nothing.
Nothing. Jeff?
Devontae Smith?
No. Didn't you just say Devonta Smith?
I thought I said Jalen Waddle.
Oh yeah, you did. Yeah. I am a receiver for an AFC team.
What the fuck? What receiver for Bama?
5, 4, 3, 2,
My brain's
1.
about to melt right now.
What's the next clue?
Jeff, nothing?
No.
All right, we're moving on.
Oh, I know.
I
who
play for a
think.
team with an animal as a logo.
We have them.
Five.
It's not Jamar
4.
Chase because he's LSU.
No.
It's not
And
Jamar
he
Chase.
was drafted in 2022.
That's right. That's right.
Yeah. Jeff?
This Alabama receiver?
Mm-hmm.
I'm a receiver.
2020, 15th overall. I can't think of who the first pick in 2020 was. Usually if I get the first pick, I get the rest of the class.
All right. Last clue.
God, it's so
I
bad.
currently wear the number 10.
Ooh.
This is so embarrassing. Number
5, 4,
It's not
3,
Tyreek Hill, is it? No.
2, no. 2, 1. Jove, last guess.
Oh my God.
You've named all of the Alabama SEC receivers. Well, no, there's actually still one, and that's what it is. All right, come on. I guess. 3, 2, 1, guess.
I can't.
Jerry Judy.
I would have never.
Oh my God. I forgot about Judy.
Scott, that's really embarrassing because he like Devonta Smith and Jalen Waddle. There's a picture of like all three of them walking together, and I
Yeah.
know Jev's seen that picture.
Oh, no way. Ian would have probably got that in like seconds. He would have known exactly the pick, and
I think as soon as I said first team all SEC player, he would have gotten it.
got it
For
right.
some reason, he just has that random knowledge.
He does, yeah.
All right.
Wild.
Second hockey one here.
Okay.
I was drafted 9th overall in the NHL Draft in 2015.
Got it. Wait, hold on. Maybe not. Okay. Maybe. 9th overall 2015.
Mikko Rantanen?
It's not him.
No. And time's up.
Nikolai Ehlers.
No.
Not him, but
All right. Clue number 2. I played in Switzerland before making my professional debut in 2016.
Yeah, Timo Meyer.
Yeah. Fuck. The second clue for you guys is insane here.
Was Mikko Rantanen was that year though?
Nico went 10th overall in
I fucking yeah, it was 9 or 10.
and Nikolai Ehlers went 9th overall in 2014.
All right, who got that first? Was that Scott again?
Scott got it first.
All right. Well, Scott's won, but just for shits and gigs.
Maybe it's
Here we go.
2-1.
2-1?
We're still tied up.
Oh, tie. Oh,
We
how's
both got Caulfield. We didn't get the second one, and then he got this one.
okay.
So he's up by 1.
Okay. Tie it up. Tie it up. I was drafted round 1, pick 18 in the 2015 NFL draft.
I don't know if I go back that far.
Yeah. I don't expect it to be to get it on the first one here.
What pick, sorry?
15 or 18.
18 from the 2015 NFL draft, right?
It was 2015.
Very out of my element here, but I'm gonna guess. I'm gonna try.
All right, guess.
No idea.
Jeff?
Yeah, I have no idea.
All right. I played for the Washington Huskies in my college career. It's like one of the most famous Washington Huskies.
I don't know a lot of college football, so I went to a Huskies game like 4 years ago.
He wouldn't have been on the team. Next clue? I have no idea.
Jeff?
Yeah, next clue.
I have played for 3 NFL teams. All have been in the AFC.
Who's in
Chase
20?
Claypool. No, it's not
No,
Chase Claypool.
he was in 2021
That's what it is.
draft, I think. And he went to Notre Dame.
See, that shows you how much I know about the NFL.
Yeah.
I don't know if I was like followed NFL this deep around 2015, and like I don't drafts and stuff are my biggest weakness.
Oh, I lied. Sorry, I'll give an extra second. Just looking it over. 2 teams have been in the AFC and 1 team in the NFC.
Doesn't help.
So to add on a little bit more, since I kind of did that, the teams are the Chiefs, Ravens, and Rams.
I think this is a bad guess.
Yeah.
I know he's played on 2 of these teams. Orlando Brown, the
No.
offensive tackle. Okay.
Mm-mm.
I think he's not that old. I don't think. The tackle, I think he's a bit younger.
I think he could be.
I think he was like 2019 draft or something.
No, because he was just getting he was just getting paid. I'm pretty sure. 2018. Yeah, okay. A couple years sooner, yeah.
All right, next clue.
Next clue.
I'm a 2-time first team All Pro and 2-time second team All Pro and a 3-time Pro Bowler.
What position would he be? 15, 18, that screams wide receiver. Chiefs, Ravens.
5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
Mark,
Oh.
no.
No.
No,
You just got to say it for the guess.
I guess Marquise Brown, but he was way later.
Yeah, he was way later. I am an elite cornerback.
He's for the Chiefs.
Oh. Hopefully I'm getting this name right.
Yeah.
It's Marcus Peters?
It is Marcus Peters.
Also would have never got that.
Yeah. These I knew going hockey and football oriented, I'm like, could be 2 sides of the table here. I'm thoroughly impressed with how quickly you guys got those hockey ones.
Okay, pull up a hockey player and we'll quickly do 20, or we'll do give us like you pull up like his hockey DB and then give us like random clues, and first one to get it wins because it's 2-2 right now.
Tiebreaker.
Okay. I found the player. All right.
Scott, guest of the show, you can, or I guess like Hayden will just give us clues and we'll
He'll
just
give us clues. Yeah.
first one to buzz in.
Yeah.
All right, let's see.
And I'll throw in a rule here. If you guess and get it wrong, you can't guess until the next guy guesses.
I like it. It's a good
Okay.
roll.
So this person played 1 game in the 2013 to 2014 season, and in that game had a goal on 1 shot.
Okay.
Played 1 game.
Had a goal.
1 goal on 1 shot. Okay, next clue.
All right. He has played for 2 teams, but most recently played for his second team this year.
What?
5.
Wait, so like I don't know if I'm misunderstanding the question.
So from 2013 to 2014,
Like he just recently played this year, or like he played his first time playing with the second team was this past year.
Yes.
Okay. So
Okay.
Next clue.
Next clue. Yeah.
yeah.
Okay.
Sure.
Okay. He has one of the coolest nicknames in all of the NHL. Purely because of his name.
Huh.
Okay.
What the fuck?
He was drafted. This was his draft. He was drafted in 2011 in the 4th round and the 13th pick, so 104th overall.
Cool nickname. 1 goal and 1 shot. Damn.
No, that's tough.
Nothing
I
yet?
think that's right away, but I don't know. Okay.
Okay,
anyways, you go.
his first team was a Canadian team. His second team is an American team. But he himself is American.
So American with a cool nickname. Patrick Kane.
No, he wasn't.
No.
Oh, he was 2007 draft. Okay, now I have a guess until you can go. Give us the next clue, please.
All right. He
His nickname's Showtime.
That is a sick nickname. I'll give you that.
Nah, he's played for 2 American teams. I'm
he
fucking
has the Lady Byng Memorial Trophy under his belt in the 2016 to 2017 season.
Okay, so drafting 2011 4th round. Played for 2 teams. Canadian team for a long time, now an American team.
I completely missed the draft year. I don't know why I guess Patrick Kane. That was dumb.
Okay. Wow. Oh my gosh. Just thinking here. 4th round. Okay, give us the next clue.
Oh man, getting down to the clues here. Oh fuck. Okay. I'm just gonna have to do it. I can't believe you guys have gone this long. The Canadian team he played for was the Calgary Flames. So he was drafted by the Flames as well.
Oh,
2011.
Yeah. But he didn't play his first year until 2013, 2014.
I think I have a guess, but I already guessed and got it wrong. So Scots.
Now, Scott, purely just for entertainment, I'm gonna make you guess this one.
Yeah, no, that's fair. I love it. Okay, the player is drafted 4th round. Oh my god. Calgary Flames, now an American team.
Yeah, I got it.
You got it. Yeah, he does. I feel like I do know it, but as soon as you say it, I'm gonna know it. But the player is. Oh
Oh yeah, now it all just makes sense.
Did you
Yeah.
search it up?
No, I my hands are down here. I was sitting
Well,
on my hands.
like by now, just to.
No, I haven't searched anything
Okay,
up.
okay. Fair.
definitely not Sam Bennett. Definitely not Sam Bennett. The player is. Oh my god, this is gonna kill me. Wow, yeah, Hayden's laughing. I should know this already. I should definitely know this.
Yeah, you should know this.
I should know. This is really, really bad.
All right, you have 15 seconds, Scott.
Yeah. I know. 15 seconds.
Damn, he's showing in the timer too.
Timer now. Pressure's on. The player is. It's not Mark Giordano, but Mark Giordano is my guess. It's not Mark Giordano.
No,
It's Johnny Hockey.
it's Johnny Hockey.
Oh yeah, okay, that makes sense.
He was drafted when he was playing like fucking beer league or whatever in Boston. His mom came in on the phone and was like, "Hey, there's some guy from Calgary's calling you about the draft or whatever."
Oh, crazy.
Wow.
Yeah, as soon as he said,
Good fact.
as soon as you said Calgary, I was like, oh, "Fuck, of course, Johnny Hockey."
Yeah.
First year with Columbus was this year. He's American.
I was I thought about saying Sean Monahan, but that also wasn't right either because he hasn't
Yeah.
played for American team.
Yeah, and he's Canadian too. But
Yeah, he's Canadian too.
well,
Well done.
that was probably some really bad podcasting at the end, but nonetheless, it was a wicked, absolutely unbelievable episode. Scott, thank you so much for coming on. I hope you had a good time making your return to the podcasting game. Let the
Good to be
people
back. It's been a while.
let the people know where they can find you if you're wanting to plug any social media of some sort.
Yeah, just my Instagram is the easiest. So it's my first name, Scott, last name Konkin, all one word, 21. So Scott Konkin 21 is my Instagram. I'm not as active on the social media these days. Things are busy with life and school and all the things. And yeah, SYP Pod if you're looking to see what we've done before. Myself, my good buddy Ian McNaughton, as many of you know,
Our friends
um,
of the show.
end of the show, not a big deal. Good guy, does the podcast. He's a busy man with the Everett Silver Tips, but if you want to go check out the Everett Silver Tips Instagram page, he has a big hand in the things they do there. He doesn't run it anymore. He's moved on to better, bigger, and better things, but he's busy with the team, so you'll see him lots on social media. And yeah, just go support the boys and give lots of love to Left Side Heavy. Thanks for having me on again, boys. I really appreciate it. It's been a pleasure, and getting me back in the podcast game is good. So good to be back.
It was a hell of a time, man. We didn't pay him to say that either, Hayden. So
No, not at all.
yeah, beautiful words. Where can the people find you, Hayden?
On Instagram and Twitter at Hayden_Barton.
You can follow me on Instagram at Jevin.Lefave, on Twitter at JevinLefave. Find everything for the show on Instagram, Twitter, and TikTok at LeftSideHeavy_, and watch on YouTube, Left Side Heavy. Subscribe, like, comment, and share. Thank you so much for listening. Shout out to Scott for coming on the show and giving his draft analysis. Hopefully you're a little bit more educated on the prospects. Draft is next week, and awards are next week. So we'll have that recap and little draft preview as well. And yeah, we'll see you next time. Thank you so much for listening. Peace.